America never truly defeated the Confederacy. Sure, it surrendered on paper, but its spirit never really left. And today that ghost walks among us. In voting laws, in school boards, in policing, even in Congress. This is the story of how the Confederacy survived and how its unfinished legacy still fuels the racism and division we're living through now. In 1865, the Confederacy surrendered on the battlefield, but the United States never truly wiped it out. There were no war crime trials, no effort to root out Confederate influence, no removal of traitors from power. In fact, many were welcomed right back into politics, business, and the military. Why was that? Because for the North, unity mattered more than justice. Lincoln's goal was to keep the Union together, not to rebuild it as a place of true equality even after the ugly institution of slavery. Reconstruction was America's shot at finally putting the Confederacy to rest. Black Americans built schools, ran for office, and even helped reshape Southern economies. But by 1877, federal troops were pulled out. Southern white elites were allowed to reclaim power. What followed was a reign of terror, lynching, voter suppression, and Jim Crow laws. The Confederacy may have lost the war, but it won the peace. Over time, the Confederacy became more than just a Southern rebellion. It seeped into American identity itself. Confederate generals were celebrated. Textbooks were rewritten to tell a different story of the United States. And the Confederacy's values, white supremacy, states' rights, distrust of government, Christian nationalism, became woven into American policy. But the Confederacy's legacy didn't just shape America. Its racial laws and ideology became a blueprint for oppression worldwide. In the 1930s, Hitler and Nazi legal scholars studied American segregation and anti-miscegenation laws, especially those from the South, as models for the Nuremberg laws that stripped Jews of citizenship and banned interracial marriage. Nazi Germany looked to the Confederacy's system of white supremacy and institutionalized racial hierarchy as inspiration for their own racial state. Decades later, South African lawmakers drew directly from the same legacy when building apartheid, using American Jim Crow and Confederate-era policies as guides for their own system of racial separation and domination. The Confederacy's influence crossed oceans, fueling some of the world's most notorious regimes of racial injustice. When you see today's voter suppression laws, school censorship, or anti-immigrant rhetoric, that's the Confederacy's DNA, just dressed up for the present. During the Cold War, America claimed to stand for freedom. But Black Americans were still fighting for the right to vote and to simply live. The world saw the contradiction. The Soviets broadcast images of Birmingham's police dogs attacking protesters. African leaders asked, "How can you preach democracy and deny it at home?" Civil rights laws were passed not only to help Black citizens, but to protect America's reputation around the world. Now we're living through a new Confederate era. Confederate flags were waved during the January 6th attack. Politicians praise heritage while erasing history. School boards are scrubbing Black and Indigenous history from classrooms. America isn't going back to the Confederacy. It never really left. And once again, racism isn't just on the fringes. It's written into policy. Look at Georgia's voter ID laws, or Florida's anti-CRT bills, or the way Black activists are surveilled and labeled as domestic threats. This isn't accidental. It's by design. And it's effective. The world isn't fooled by the double standard. How can America claim to lead on human rights while criminalizing protest at home? How can it build alliances abroad when it hasn't built racial equity at home? The Confederacy isn't just America's shame, it's a global problem. Authoritarian leaders use it to dismiss democracy itself. Allies question America's leadership. And what's at stake? Credibility, peace, justice. To truly confront this legacy, America has to do more than just take down statues. It means dismantling the systems the Confederacy left behind. Racist policing, unequal schools, and voter suppression. This isn't just a matter of history. It's something we're living through right now. The election of America's first Black president was a historic milestone, a moment that inspired hope and signaled progress to millions. But it also triggered a fierce backlash. For some, Obama's presidency was seen as a threat to the old order, and it accelerated the reassertion of Confederate values in American politics. New waves of voter suppression, attacks on civil rights, and the mainstreaming of white nationalist rhetoric followed. The Confederacy's legacy adapted, finding new ways to push back against change. Until the Confederacy is finally laid to rest, America will keep being haunted by a past it refuses to fully acknowledge. You're watching The Green Diasporan. We tell the stories nations would rather forget. Leave a comment, share this video, and hit subscribe for more truths.